Young Sheldon, the worst things George Sr. did, ranked. Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome back to my another video. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And give this video a like up. While George wasn't exactly the tyrant that an older Sheldon recalled him to be, there were a few questionable things he did. While George Sr. on young Sheldon wasn't as bad a father as Sheldon made him out to be through his recollections of his childhood on The Big Bang Theory, he wasn't exactly earning best dad mugs every day either. He was a hard-working, Southern Texan man with traditional values and a love for football and beer. While his interactions with the kids were limited, he did the best he could. 10 Young Sheldon memes that perfectly sum up the show. However, George also did some terrible things throughout the show that had fans understanding, in some ways, why Sheldon might have purposely, or subconsciously, altered his memories of his dear dad. He made George out to be more of a tyrant than he was because, from a child's perspective, sometimes small incidents seem huge. In fairness, Connie, one of the funniest characters on young Sheldon, was never the nicest to George. She never liked him, felt he was not good enough for her daughter, and was never pleased with the fact that he got Mary pregnant while they were young and before they were married. With that said, as his mother-in-law, George should have given Connie more respect, even as she reveled in every chance to insult him. He could have taken the high road and treated her better, but he constantly insulted her and made her presence feel unwanted. While George was portrayed as an absent father on The Big Bang Theory, based on Sheldon's recollections, he seemed present for his kids when they needed him. However, when it came to tending to the house, he went by the traditional rules and didn't help out much. Even though Mary had other things going on, including her work with the church, she was responsible for all the cooking and cleaning, and most of the errands with the kids. George spent most of his time in front of the TV watching football and drinking beer, or hanging out at the bar with his friends. Part and parcel with that is that while George seemed far from the alcoholic Sheldon painted him out to be, he did drink quite often. This was despite Mary being against the consumption of alcohol due to her religious beliefs. Related, 10 best characters introduced late in young Sheldon. He was always seen with a beer any time he was at home, whether it was while watching TV or even during dinner. Anytime he went out without the family, it was always to the local watering hole, as well, where he continued to consume alcoholic beverages. One of the saddest moments on young Sheldon was when George yelled at Sheldon for taking apart the refrigerator to figure out where an annoying repetitive sound was coming from. Being the smart kid that he was, Sheldon figured it would be easy enough to read up on it, take everything apart, figure out and fix the issue, and then put everything back together. While the decision cost the family a lot of money and grief, George's reaction was far too harsh on the young boy, and marked one of the few times fans actually saw Sheldon cry. In later seasons, the fractures in George's and Mary's marriage were made clearer, marking one of the many times young Sheldon dealt with serious issues. In one particular episode, Mary went out for a night on the town when she realized that in being a wife and a mother, she lost a part of herself. George didn't go out of his way to make Mary feel beautiful or special, never planning special dinners or encouraging her to go out with friends or even her mother while he watched the kids. He fell into a routine that eventually wasn't working for either of them. While there was no official cheating between them, and it remains unclear as to whether Brenda is the woman George eventually cheats on Mary with, he did have clear feelings for her. There were even some flirtations between them. 10 shows to watch if you like young Sheldon. Brenda made suggestive remarks, and while George always rebuffed the advances, it's possible that if the circumstances were different, such as Connie not getting suspicious, he might have acted on them. Nonetheless, even the flirting crossed a line. George did take things a step further when he met in secret with Brenda, choosing to go to the bowling alley to avoid running into any of his friends. They ended up running into the school principal instead, which made things awkward as they pretended they just happened upon one another there. Had he not shown up, though, it's unclear where the night might have taken the married George and the divorced Brenda. It was one of the things young Sheldon fans didn't see coming. While the event hasn't yet been depicted on young Sheldon, it likely will happen at some point, since adult Sheldon's recollections of his childhood are of catching his father in bed with another woman. It would have been at 13, a year older than he is in Season 5. George, meanwhile, passed away when Sheldon was 14. With that said, the cheating incident, and likely the death as well, will be forthcoming in the current or following seasons of the show. So while it hasn't been depicted on TV just yet, fans already know that it's a moment that impacted George's marriage and traumatized Sheldon. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Young Sheldon 24, and stay with us.